Hey everyone, I'm Lisa Jadan, and welcome to Menopausitive,
I got a good feeling.
where we take a refreshingly positive approach to navigating menopause. If you're looking for practical tips, expert advice, and honest conversations, think of this as your personal pick and mix for how to optimize your body. Although we can't prevent menopause, we can redefine it. And that journey starts now. Hey everyone, it's your friend Lisa. Welcome back to Menopausitive and another hour that is just for you. I'm so proud of you for taking this time for yourself and being part of our gorgeous Menopausitive community. Today, I want to talk about energy. Energy seems to be a bit of a buzzword for 2026. At the recent World Economic Forum in Davos, energy was part of global strategy conversations on AI and infrastructure. And I don't know about your friendship circles, but it's also dominating personal conversations. So many of us are looking for ways to find more energy, recharge our energy, or maybe if you're like me, asking, why do I feel low on energy even when I'm doing all the right things? So I thought, who better to explore the topic of energy than with Chi Master Emilie Weston from Sun Kyung? Emilie is an energy practitioner with over 25 years' experience, trained in a powerful South Korean healing technique designed to restore energy, rebalance the body, and release the tension and energetic blockages that we all build up over a lifetime of stress, and particularly during hormonal change. We're going to talk about what's the difference between being tired and having low energy, why menopause fatigue doesn't always respond to rest, how low energy or low chi can intensify menopause symptoms, but also how balanced chi can support our mood and metabolism. If you're doing all the right things but still feel flat, this episode is for you, my friend. And just one thing before we start. Can you do me a favor and hit the follow button? If this is resonating already, I want to make sure these conversations keep finding you so you can keep feeling your best. Emilie, welcome to Menopausitive.
Thank you. Very nice to be here.
It's so nice to have you here. Energy is one of the biggest conversations in women's friendship circles, at least in my friendship circle right now, particularly around perimenopause and menopause fatigue. Like everybody's feeling really tired. We're all asking, why am I so tired? Or, how can I get my energy back? And I've learned from spending time with you that there are two different types of energy, and most of us are only addressing one.
Yes.
Can you talk us through that?
Yes. I think that's the most common thing that people are talking about is that they just don't have enough energy and people are really tired all the time. And even if they sleep well or if they eat well, they're not recharging their energy. And that's about understanding the two types of energy and where we get our energy from. So the energy that people understand is energy from food, energy from sunlight, water, all the energy we receive from nature and we take in every day. And that is one important type of energy for our well-being. But there is another type of energy, and that's more the universal energy, the energy that we are born with. And that's a bit like a car battery or our human battery. And the energy from nature is like petrol you put in the car. So we need that daily petrol, daily energy from nature, but it's really, really important that our batteries are charged. And what people are finding is they're depleting their battery energy without realizing it and wondering, okay, well, I'm eating only organic food or I'm sleeping 10 hours, but I still wake up feeling exhausted. And then that's a sign that you've depleted your core energy or the battery energy that supports all the system.
So that's like what I'm hearing you say is there's fuel in the tank, but the battery needs to be recharged.
Exactly. So, for example, if you leave your car lights on and you completely flatten the battery, it really doesn't matter how much petrol you put in, the car isn't going to go. But we're not really aware of our battery, and we're aware of what we need to put into our body. And that, so it's only when we start to deplete our energy or lose energy, which kind of happens a lot around perimenopause and menopause anyway, as we're getting older, that we start to be aware, oh my gosh, my reserves of energy are declining.
And this was a huge unlock for me when I came to see you, because I didn't even understand this innate energy.
Yes.
And I came to you and I was like, I eat well, I have good sleep hygiene, I move my body, but my energy is really inconsistent.
Yes.
And when you started talking about, well, I think it's your battery that needs a recharge, it really unlocked things for me, because I thought, oh, this is another lever I didn't even know about, that I could really pull on in order to help myself feel better.
Yes, same for many people. And they, and people try to do different things, such as, okay, I'd better change my diet, or I need to sleep more, or I need a holiday and some rest and clean air, or walk by the sea or in the mountains. But it only works for a short time. And then there's still, if your energy levels are depleted, which can happen from just time and age, or from something stressful periods that you're going through, then no one actually knows about the battery, so they don't know how to recharge it.
And this is very common language, though, in Eastern cultures, right? Like,
Yes.
in most Eastern cultures, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, they believe there's a form of chi or ki. I think
Yes.
in South
Yeah.
Korea, you use the term ki.
Yes, or prana, they would call it. There's
Prana.
so many names, but this is a South Korean practice, so we call it ki, or it's the innate energy, the universal energy, which is everywhere, but it's also inside us, and it's your power force, your life force.
And when that chi or ki is low or it's blocked, no amount of supplements, no amount of workouts, no amount of nutritious food or early nights are really going to fix how you
Not really.
feel.
There is some interaction between the two types of energy, but they are different sources for our system. So the battery is really our life force in what's supporting all the different systems of the body, including the hormonal system. So everything needs energy to work at its optimum.
And because in Eastern cultures this is more common. I mean, in Western culture, I feel in Eastern cultures, they really respect low energy, but in Western cultures, we're told to push through.
Exactly.
I mean, how did that happen? What are we missing? I think it's really hurting us. There's a lot more burnout.
There's so much burnout. There's low energy, there's exhaustion, and then there's burnout. And most people are finding themselves somewhere on that scale. But I think in Eastern cultures, they know they need to be in balance with nature, balance with the universe, and then in balance themselves. And they understand that there's a natural flow. So, acupuncture is well understood in the East, and it's quite well understood here, but acupuncture supports the flow of energy, the flow of our battery or life force energy within. And when it gets blocked, then everything becomes stagnant. And when things become stagnant in the body, then things don't work as well.
And I think they've grown up with this idea of balancing energy, whereas in the West, we're just, like I said, always pushing through.
Yeah.
Like pulling,
Yes.
all the time, pulling from all the resources we have until we burn out, like
and
you
often
said.
people are going towards burnout and they think I should exercise more. And then if your system's blocked and you need better circulation, then exercise helps. But if your energy system is really, really depleted, then you're just draining yourself even more. So it's knowing what to do for what type of energy.
And I feel people intuitively understand energy, but we all know that feeling when somebody walks in the room and they drain energy. So there's high energy, low energy, but I'm just not sure people understand, how do I get more of it?
People know when they don't have enough energy. That's what I find.
Yes.
And then if they think about energy, they don't know if they believe in it or what it is, because it's invisible. So it's and people don't know where to get it. But yeah, so when you talk about feeling the room or the atmosphere or people, that's about vibration. So we would say energy exists as vibration, light, which is invisible light and vibration. And that's very hard to understand from a Western point of view. But I think scientifically, they have shown that everything from a leaf or everything that's living is giving off a certain frequency. So there, we are actually communicating by vibration and giving off a certain aura or light. But it's just accepted in the East, whereas it needs to be proved in the West.
And the vibration, I mean, that's another word, right? I mean,
Yes.
energy, vibration, I operate at a high vibration or a low vibration. Again, I think people are using the terms, but
Yeah.
don't know exactly what they mean.
Yes.
But emotions carry vibration
Totally.
as
So
well.
I would say a high vibration needs to give you peace, not like the adrenaline type energy. And then so energy can be misunderstood. So if you have a high vibration, then that makes you positive, that makes you bright, that makes you happy, that makes you peaceful, that makes you able to cope with everything that's happening. And then a low vibration, of course, you can be feel very stagnant or not have enough energy to get going or to do anything physically or mentally. But we can get confused by vibration as well, because often we're pushing through and we're just pushing ourselves even though we don't have enough energy. And then there's this kind of fast vibration and then burnout and
And
everything drops.
did we talk about that in terms of me as well? I mean, we
Yeah.
even talked about fire,
Yeah, character of energy.
character of energy.
Yes.
And well, you explain the
Yeah, so
difference.
all the Eastern therapies are built on the idea of yin and yang, so fire and water, or plus and minus. So the key energy contains both. It's the idea that you have a battery that contains, plus and minus everything, and that's your life force. But in terms of how energy moves there, and when you look at nature, everything exists as a fire or water, and there's a different movement. So fire energy is very active and dynamic and makes you inspired and gives you ideas, and that gets things going and gets things started. So if you have that character, it's easy to get going. But if you go into that vibration too much, then it can turn into anxiety or anger or frustration when energy gets really fast, and then you start draining too much energy. And then, so the two have to be in balance, which is about keeping your system in balance, the circulation, balance of your emotions. That's all affects the circulation of energy in the body.
It explains so much to me because even you did a movement when we first met. You're like, your fire energy, it comes up and it comes out.
Yes.
And I kind of felt really spot on, because you're like, and then you go, 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 go. And then I was like
Then you run
wondering,
out.
why do I have no energy? Like after 3 days, then I can't do anything.
Yes.
And I guess when you can learn to balance that energy,
Yes.
it's more sustainable.
Because we have different characters and everyone has fire and water energy. But if you look at the character of fire, then it burns and then it's very bright and very exciting to look at, and then it burns out. And that's okay if there's a rhythm. But if you're always burning your engine, so to speak, then you're going to drain a lot of energy. And then water takes time to get going, but when it's going, it has more stamina. So it's just knowing how to use the two types of energy, and then they have to be in harmony and balance in the body.
I think a lot of people listening can relate to that if they're a fire or a water. On the other side of that, with low energy, what is the difference between feeling tired and low energy?
Yeah. So tired, I used to have ME or chronic fatigue when I was younger. And so that idea of being tired or having low energy or being ill, they're very, very different, but it's hard for people to understand the difference. Being tired is a healthy signal from the body when you need to rest. But if you are too tired and you're always tired and you feel exhausted all the time, then that goes into something being wrong and your energy being depleted. So there's if you exercise, if you do a long run, then you feel tired after, but you rest and you recover, then that's normal. But low energy means that not enough energy is supporting your organs and cells and muscles and joints. And then emotionally you feel out of balance, and physically you start to get digestive issues or back pain or migraines or something, because energy isn't supporting all the systems to work properly.
And these are all messages. We talk a lot on the show about your body isn't broken, it's just sending you messages for you to pay attention to. So menopause can show up in so many different ways in women. And I want to hear from you when women come to see you, because even if I go into a pharmacy, nobody goes in and says, I am in menopause, can I have something? Or I'm in menopause, can you treat me? I am not sure if that's how people come to see you, but whether it's brain fog or whether it's joint pain or if they have a lot of anxiety, for example, what are you seeing in your practice, and how can energy work support women throughout the menopause transition?
Yes. Well, I say everybody's very different. And of course, there are symptoms that, relate to the menopause. And a lot of people come to us specifically if they're having the extreme symptoms or they can't change something. But a lot of people put that as an extra. They come to see us for energy or certain health issues. And then they put they're going through the menopause, of course, which is such a massive life change. But I would say how energy works, it supports everything to be in balance. So if people are having a lot of sleep issues, for example, when you receive energy, that recharges your battery, it recharges your kidney energy, which changes your vibration, which makes things very peaceful and calm. And then it helps people to sleep better. So that we have really good results with sleep. And then things like feeling much more emotional or overwhelmed or stressed or anxious. And that comes to the vibration part. When you recharge someone's core energy or innate energy, everything gets into a better rhythm. And then you feel calmer, you feel lighter, you feel clearer, and you can actually cope with everything much better. And a lot of my clients say they feel much more kind of emotionally balanced after having a treatment. And if they have a regular energy treatment, then they feel they're more in control of themselves and their lives and their emotions again.
And the other thing you explained to me was the one commonality between the women that come in to see you is that low energy often correlates with worse menopause
Yes,
symptoms or more
yes.
severe
Yeah, I've really
symptoms.
noticed that because I have a lot of clients going through perimenopause or the menopause. And that's the one thing I started to pick up. Those with the more severe symptoms, it related to having more depleted batteries, more low energy. And also they had many more blockages or energy blockages or tension in their system. So if I help them to recharge energy or open their blockages, then their symptoms reduced quite a lot. But it was definitely those with the more severe symptoms had built up more tension and more energy blockages during their life.
So let's jump into
Yeah.
then your treatment,
Yes.
because we'll jump around a little bit. But so how do you go about unlocking energy? Unlocking it? Unlocking it, I don't know what the right word is, but what does a treatment look like
Yeah.
when people come to see you?
Okay. Well, we give energy. We transmit energy, which is vibration, and light and energy is hard to understand. But we are giving energy through our hands in the treatment, and it's a full body session. You're fully clothed, and we use acupressure to stimulate all the circulation in the energy meridians and unblock all the tension and knots. So everybody's carrying a certain level of tension. And then in the shoulders, people are aware of it. The tension is sitting there in the muscles. But the place where people have the most energy blockages and tension and stagnation is actually the stomach or abdomen area. So that's where our treatment starts. We check the flow of energy there and we work on acupressure points there and we give energy. And we use sound as well. I would make a sound with my breath. It's quite unusual, but the vibration carries energy deeper than just touch. And people are quite amazed by the change. So once we start to give energy and then unblock the flow of energy, then people just feel much, much lighter, looser, clearer, happier.
And I didn't know what to expect. I mean, you said you kind of get on the table, and I lied down, and yeah, it's not like a massage. I mean,
No.
you are pressing quite firmly
Yes.
into the abdomen,
Yes.
and then in different parts of the body
Yeah.
as well. It's quite firm. So what are you? I don't know. Is this a weird? Like, what are you
What am I
feeling
feeling?
for? Yeah.
It's
What do
very
you
hard to
feel?
explain because, but when I touch someone, I can feel how energy is moving and how much energy they have. That's the first thing. And then, for example, people like it down the back. You talk about firm touch, but if you treat the back, there are three major energy pathways in the body, a bit like three motorways. So through the crown of the head and then right down to the lower energy center, which is in the lower abdomen. It's like a straight line. It's like a big pipe. And then there's two either side. And those energy pathways have to be clear. It's like having a pipe for water. It has to flow. So when I touch the body, I can feel where the energy is flowing down those pathways and, of course, all the other pathways. So then I would use acupressure to get rid of any tension. And then I can feel when it starts to move again. And then people feel the same thing in their body as I'm treating them. I'm sure you felt a bit looser and lighter.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I think the way you're describing it is beautiful. Like, I'm picturing like a clogged pipe, when you said
Yes.
that, or there's like roadworks
Yeah.
on the motorway. And if you can feel that and unblock that, then kind of more energy can flow easily through the body, which again, the way I understand it is just puts your body in a state where it can heal
Yes.
itself.
Yes. And people know, when you're stressed, you feel that knot in your
Yeah,
stomach,
yeah.
and it's physical and it's not physical. So the tension builds up. And then if you have repeated stress, then that knot becomes more solid. So it's that kind of thing that people are aware of. And then when they get over that period of stress, then it might dissolve naturally itself. But sometimes over life, if you have certain emotional patterns, like if you're always anxious or you're always worried or you're always angry, then the tension builds up a little bit, then a little bit more. And then that tension becomes a really solid part of your system, but it's not physical, but it's blocking the flow. And so when we touch, it feels almost physical. It feels like a tense knot. And then when it dissolves, that an energy can start moving and you feel much, much better.
Oh, that's really interesting. What came up in my head was there's a lot of conversation around neural pathways
Yes.
and creating new ones. So when you were talking about inherited or stored stress or chronic stress or whatever trauma it could be in your body, if you can unblock that, it just opens up the pathway
Totally.
more.
Well, we think there's 3 types of blockages. So we talked about 2 types of energy.
Yeah.
You need energy from nature and you need the energy that you're born with. You need the universal power. But then there are 3 types of blockages, and that's what we're feeling for when we give a treatment. Then I would check how many blockages there are and what's causing them. So, there's physical tension, which everyone understands. And then that's just from what you eat, sleep, exercise regimes or pollution, weather, that kind of thing. But then the 2 big ones are our emotional state and also what we inherit, which is less understood. So there is layers of tension from our day-to-day thoughts, but also all our life experiences. And that creates the kind of blocked energy that affects our health long term. It's not like when people get health issues, it's not they appear overnight. They've been affected by all the things that we've been doing and thinking for the last 10, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, yeah.
And then inherited patterns, that's less understood, but as a major part of our practice is understanding that we don't just inherit our genes, we inherit the vibration or energy pattern from previous generations. And that's hidden deep inside our body and affecting our energy flow as well.
So is it possible or is it interesting to reframe like menopause, not that menopause is draining your energy, but it's revealing where energy is blocked?
Yes, I think there are 2 things. When you are hitting the menopause, it's the same. It's the same as all parts of the body. The bones are getting weaker and the muscles are getting weaker. Unfortunately, things are going downwards, which we understand. But everyone also understands if you look after your muscles and you work on your strength, you can take care of yourself, and there are things you can do for bone density. There's so many things you can do, and energy is the same. It is naturally going down. Our battery, we're using it, so it's naturally going down as we get older. That doesn't mean you need to be ill or unhealthy, but if you take care of your energy, then you can reduce a lot of the symptoms or health issues, especially during menopause. So it's not that energy solves the menopause, unfortunately, but if your energy is flowing and you have more energy, then you will go through the menopause, I believe, much more easily.
Let's just take a quick break. I want to hear from our amazing partners who bring this show to everybody for free. And when we're back, I want to dig more into these blockages again, because I
Yes.
think you explained them really nicely. So we will be right back.
I got a good feeling.
Quick favor before we start. I know every podcast asks you to do this, but could you please hit follow and rate the show? It really does make a big difference. Now, back to the show. So we're back, and I want to revisit the 3 blocked energies because I think a lot of women can relate to that. So you said there were 2 types of energy and then 3 types of
3
blockages:
types
physical, emotional,
and
and
inherited.
inherited. And these are built up over time.
Yes. Well, inherited you're born with. So that's the energy. Maybe we should come to that one last because it's the harder one to understand. But yeah, most of them that you build up during your lifetime.
And are these blockages, are these the things that come that then we feel as physical symptoms?
Yeah.
Everybody talks about like like stored emotions or when emotions show up as physical symptoms?
Exactly that. So from my understanding, they're literally, you have energy pipes all through the body carrying energy to everywhere it's needed. And those pipes have to be clear. But blockages are the tension and vibration of energy that builds up into a knot. And so sometimes you feel it physically. Sometimes you don't know, but you feel very, very drained in a certain area or something's not working properly.
Yeah, so that massage that I've had on back here, I may need more energy work on that. It's not just a massage that's going to help that go through that not that recurring knot or that recurring shoulder pain
Exactly.
or that recurring back pain that the physio hasn't sorted or the osteo hasn't sorted. It could be linked to blocked emotions or
Yes. So back pain and digestive problems, they for us, they're kind of two sides of a coin. So in terms of energy, like I mentioned, energy is stored in the lower abdomen. This is where your energy battery is. Like your heart pumps blood, energy is pumped from here around all the meridians. So when you drain energy and when you get blocked from emotions, we all know that our emotions go to the gut, worries, stress, we feel that knot and they build up. So there's lots of hidden tension here. So when the hidden tension builds up and when you drain energy from here, then your digestive system is one of the first things that's affected. And then lower back pain, it's the same energy center. So often when people are starting to lose energy, a signal would be digestive issues or back pain. And of course, there are other reasons, but when people come to us with those symptoms, we will check, how much energy do you have and is it moving? And once you open the energy system, either on the front or the back, it can have a positive impact on both those symptoms.
I mean, again, I think this is why I was really excited to bring this conversation to everybody because there are so many of us. And even within your friendship group, everybody wants to help everybody. So
Yes.
you should see this osteo. Oh my gosh, you need to see my chiropractor. Or you should go to this yoga person. Or you should go see my nutritionist. But again, this idea of this other lever that most of us, well, I didn't even know about and really didn't understand this
Yes.
idea of this innate energy, this
Yeah.
energy within us that we can draw on that could be the source or could be the unlock
Yes.
for people.
Yes.
And I think it's just something really interesting for women to consider as they journey through midlife, as they're going through the menopause transition. It's just another tool in your toolbox that you can go and try.
Yes.
Um, let's talk about anxiety a little bit, if that's okay, because it's also a common symptom of perimenopause. How do you see anxiety as energy in the body?
Yeah. So anxiety, well, there are two ways to come from. If you are anxious, then the place in the body that responds to that emotion is just between the ribs. So people call it the solar plexus or the stomach point. And if you suffer from anxiety, you would know you feel that knot there. And then in the upper body, you have this feeling that everything's moving at this pace. And people who are anxious are like this.
Yeah.
So when I would treat someone with anxiety, I'd normally find that this central point in the main energy pipe is blocked. Now, the severity of the anxiety would depend on how severely blocked that was. And then that separates the body kind of in half. So you get stagnant energy in the lower body and very active energy in the upper part. And then it's hard to calm yourself down. So for anxiety, once we open that blockage and energy starts to flow, the vibration changes. So people are weaker, energy is kind of going down or depleted during the menopause, and they're more vulnerable to stress and different emotions or experiences that they're having, and that area can get easily blocked. And then when they're anxious, they have this very fast vibration, and it's hard to slow it down. So what energy does, it gives your system more power, but it calms it down and it gives it a better rhythm. So the energy flows in a more balanced way and you immediately feel calmer.
So that vibration slows
Yes.
down. Even
Yeah.
as you're doing it, I can feel it.
Yes.
And even when you're writing an email or you're responding, like if you're angry at something, you can feel everybody.
Yeah.
Even you don't have to have chronic anxiety to know what that feels like.
Exactly.
So there's something that you do and how you move the energy around that slows that.
Yes. When you receive energy, it changes your vibration. And our emotions all have a different vibration, but there is a balanced rhythm. And if we regain that balanced rhythm, then we feel clear, we feel calm, we feel connected, we feel happy. And that's what energy does for you.
I mean, sign me up. um, does it have to be in a hands-on treatment? Are there exercises? Like, because you also offer classes. So are there things we can do
There's many things
ourselves?
you can do
Yeah.
yourself. I think you mentioned breathing we were discussing earlier. I mean, just slowing your breathing down and being changes your vibration, changes your energy. But sometimes if you're very drained and if there's a lot of worries and stress going on, it's difficult to do it on your own. And that's when a kind of one-to-one hands-on help it's like jump starting the car, just gets you out of it. But we do a lot of other things. So we use sound in our treatments, but we chant and we use breathing exercises with sound in our classes, and you can learn these techniques and you can do them at home, and that's an easy way to change the vibration. For example, people often say meditation's so difficult because they can't slow their mind down. So we always do some kind of chanting or sound exercise, which changes the vibration so you feel clear before you do meditation. So we also do energy classes with gentle movements, and if you do them regularly, then energy starts to circulate better. And that's one thing I will mention. Energy is the same as your muscles, your bones, your joints. You have to look after them. So if you go to the gym once, then that's great. You'll feel good for that day. But if you don't do it consistently, then it's limiting in terms of taking care of all the physical parts of the body. But if you receive energy once, then you can feel better and you can get rid of some blockages that have built up. But if you learn how to connect to the vibration yourself, whether you do it at home, whether you come to our classes, that's the key, tapping into the energy vibration. But you do it consistently, then your energy flows better. You can get into that vibration much more quickly. You know when you're out of balance. So it becomes more natural and easy.
I can speak for myself. I had the treatment with you, and then I haven't been able to get to a class yet. And I haven't gotten to one yet, but I'm fascinated in chanting as well because that vibration
Yes,
helps with your, like you said, keep still your mind a
yes,
little bit. Because did feel, I didn't leave the session going, oh my gosh, I'm floating, right?
yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't a
yeah.
feeling like that, but I noticed over the corresponding days and actually a few weeks that my energy was more consistent.
That's good.
And I also just felt so grateful because you opened me up to things that I hadn't thought of, like just this awareness of how I'm using my energy, like kind of vomiting it on
Yeah.
everybody, and then wondering why I'm exhausted,
Yes,
after a few days. But like everything, when you become more aware of the different systems and the different tools, then you can do something about it. And then I noticed that it started
going
falling
down.
off a little bit. And I was like, "Oh my god, it's like I needed to get a fix." I'm like, "How do I go back and get a fix of this?" So I'm definitely coming back to see you, and I'm definitely coming to see a class because I really felt that difference.
Yes.
I'd also started meditating this year, last year. So I started last April, and if I don't meditate, I
You feel
really
it. Yes.
notice a difference now in how I go about my day and how I
Yeah.
respond to people. So it is a muscle. It needs to be exercised, but when you can see, and as a person who had never experienced that before, to have felt that and then noticed when my energy shifted and then I went, "Oh, wait, how do I get me more of that?"
Yes.
That's where I am.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now, and again, why I was so excited to bring this to people. Let's talk metabolism and digestion. You
Yes.
touched on that a little bit as well. That's also a funny part of perimenopause. We start noticing the gut changes. It's too fast, it's too slow. I'm feeling really bloated. It's not always because of the stomach,
No.
right?
Yes. Rarely. So, of course,
Enlighten us.
yes.
Enlighten us, Emily.
So, as I mentioned, energy has to flow. It's like water. That's really important. And everything in the body's moving. So, your blood has to flow. And then everything, the lymph, everything has to detoxify. Everything has to, you eat and then it's absorbed and then it's eliminated. Everything's moving. Same with energy. So circulation is super important for everything. And as we get older and we go into the menopause, then we feel so much stagnation here. And there are two reasons, again, for that stagnation: losing energy and then everything changing down here, and then the blockages building up. So once you start to get blocked, energy can't flow, and it's really important to get energy moving here. And then when the circulation's moving, you feel much, much better.
And you do that through acupressure?
Yes, so we basically offer energy treatments or energy classes. The treatments is when you need a bit of help. When your energy's got too low, everything's got blocked, everything's got stagnant, you've got pain, you've got things that you can't, emotions you can't change, and you just need a help to shift it. A boost. Which is, you experience one treatment, you feel better. If you do a few, then energy builds up to a certain level where you start, it's like a fresh start. And everything's moving and you can take care of yourself. So sometimes we just need a bit of help. But the other part is learning how to be in the vibration, how to keep your energy moving. And then that's working on the mind, that's working on the body, and tapping into the energy all around us.
So the work can also help with women who are having
we
digestive issues.
We have great results with digestive problems, bloating, IBS, pain, because once you get energy moving, then all the systems start working better.
I mean,
you feel it straight away. Yeah.
I mean, that's just a win for many women as well. And I know you mentioned sleep already, that you have a lot of success with sleep, because that's another big one.
Yeah, you need energy to sleep, which is a very strange concept because people think I'm so tired, I need to sleep. But normally if you are really have chronic sleep problems, then your energy levels are very low. And then it's hard to regain the vibration you need to make your system peaceful, to be able to rest properly.
And that's where a boost
is
may
great.
Be really helpful.
Yes.
The other thing I always talk about is protecting my energy,
Yes.
or like, oh, that person matches my energy, but how do you, I mean, I think everybody knows that feeling when you're surrounded by stress or a lot of negativity. I find this really hard. I get really drained when I'm around negativity.
Yes.
Can you protect your energy?
Yes, with a but. So we are designed for energy to come and go. We have so many energy pores on our skin. So when you meet someone, you feel something about them, and you feel the atmosphere of a place, or you make judgments on what you feel without knowing sometimes. So energy is designed to come and go, and we can't really block that. But I think the thing that people feel is when their energy is depleted, or they don't like the vibration or the atmosphere or someone else's negativity, then they feel completely overwhelmed by that. And it's just, one part of this is just changing the concept of it, which is you are in charge of your power, your energy, your light. And if you think of it like that, if you are positive and you are bright, then you're always going to meet negativity or something difficult or something problematic. But if you look at a room, if you open the door between two rooms, light goes in, darkness doesn't come out. So one of the most important things, if you're sensitive, and I am a very sensitive person, so I understand this concept, is not to fear negative energy, not to fear that something's going to drain you or overwhelm you. Focus more on your being centered, being connected, being bright. Then you keep that vibration, and other energy comes to you, it can't stay with you. And that's a much better way to go about it.
I mean, it's like therapy talking to you. Sometimes you just have a different perspective on things that, like when some people just say things differently and it unlocks, but it can be so hard.
It's very, very hard. It's very, very hard. Sometimes you just have to make a decision to get away from that place or person, and that can be a healthy decision. But if you can't, it's about how am I going to stay centered, and also not having any fear for losing energy. Because if you have a friend who's unhappy or who's depressed and you care about that person, then you'll go and see them and you will naturally exchange energy. You will give your care, your warmth, your heart, and energy will go to your friend, and they will feel better, and you'll leave going, oh, quite tired. But as long as you don't worry about that, then even if you're tired, but you keep the vibration of giving and caring and being happy with that, then actually you can tap into the energy from the universe and recharge yourself.
And that happens naturally, just by...
Once you practice being in the vibration, and I don't say this lightly because people are like, well, I'm so drained and I actually can't cope and I'm always giving and I'm more drained. But I used to have ME, chronic fatigue, and I used to be extremely sensitive and I had no energy at all. And so being somewhere would totally overwhelm me, or different people would totally overwhelm me. So one part is recharging your own battery. That's very, very important. And then the other part is how to keep your vibration. And if you focus on what you have to do, then you lose less energy. And that's the major part.
So in the example where you go and see a friend and
Yeah.
you're there because you love
Yeah.
them and then you're there to
Yeah.
support them, and then you leave and then, your energy is drained a
Yes.
little bit. How do you fill up your cup?
Yes. Well,
Or just stay in
you
positivity?
do need techniques to be able to constantly receive and give energy. It's meant to be a cycle. We're meant to receive from the universe and give, and receive and give, and that's where the practice comes in. Like we know, we need to take care of our muscles, and then we can do more. It's the same thing. So learning how to tap into energy is one of the first things. It's very important. The second thing is do something good, but then don't regret it, because you change the vibration. And then your mind becomes more closed without realizing it. And then you do get more affected by negative energy. Whereas if you are happy and you accept the flow of energy, then your system will get back into its center and recharge itself again more naturally. And it's a mindset thing, so that you keep the rhythm no matter what.
I just had a situation with one of my oldest friends. I don't think we've ever had an argument before. And somehow we ended up in an argument. I don't even really know. I don't even really know how it happened. Uh, and then I remember just getting up and hugging her in the middle of it because I knew this wasn't us. I don't know,
Yes.
whatever was happening just wasn't us. And of course, you leave the situation and you go home and you're reciting
Yeah,
it
of course.
over and over.
Which is so draining.
Yeah, what did I say? Like, I would go to bed thinking about it. I would wake up in the morning thinking about it. I'm like, should I have said something differently? Could I have said something differently? How did I trigger her? How did that happen? Was it my fault? Was it her fault? How did it happen? And then weirdly, what came up for me was just sending her love. And I thought, I'm a good person. I know I didn't mean to say something to
Yeah.
upset her. She's a good person. She probably, I mean, I can't speak for her. I don't know how she was feeling, but all I knew was I just needed to send her love. But I mean, it sat with me for days and I just kept writing in my journal, I'm sending her love. I'm sending her love. I'm sending her love. And then when we reconnected,
It's
we
good.
just had a normal
Yeah.
conversation about it.
Yeah.
But that is really hard to draw on. I don't know where that came from within me, but most days I'm not doing that. I'm not sending people a lot of love. But maybe I should, like you said,
No, but
it's a practice.
and it's a muscle. And I think we don't realize how much we're practicing being anxious or being frustrated or complaining or, people always think they're more grateful than they are. That's one of my experiences. So if you actually sit at the end of the day and look at your whole day, just without judgment, you just remember, okay, what was I thinking? What was I saying throughout the day? And then you see how much is positive and how much is, I don't want to say negative, but not positive enough. Then you can realize, wow, I could have looked at that in a more grateful way or in a more loving way. And then you start to think, I have to practice thinking about those emotions or way of responding. Because sometimes we think we're doing it more than we really are. And we see that there's all these complaints and frustration and annoyance during the day. And if you actually start to shift that a little bit, then it becomes the go-to. Your brain gets used to it, you get used to that, and you lose less energy. That's the key. Because everything you talked about is the emotions that drain so much energy, and it takes ages to get back in balance. But if you've been practicing dealing with negative things or negative people or difficult situations with love or with gratitude or with acceptance or making it lighter and just the flow, then every time you come across something, then you go to that and you just lose less energy.
This idea, though, that I think I read we have 84,000 energy pores
Yes.
on our body.
Yes.
And what's an energy pore? Like, is it?
It's like how energy breathes in and out of our system. So this is actually very interesting. We have so many energy pores on our face, and of course, people understand there's a third eye and the physical eyes. So the third eye is a place where light and energy to come out of, kind of guide you. But we have so many energy pores, and the thing that opens the energy system, which is smiling. So if you do just simple thing each day, before you leave the house, you have a mirror, by the door. If you look in the mirror, not just to check your hair, but if you look in the mirror and you're having a really frustrating or difficult morning, or you're anxious or you're worried, but you just smile before you leave, then the smile opens up all your energy system, and then everything gets moving, and that actually brings you more good luck in the day.
And talking about gratitude, I read as well that gratitude is one of the fastest ways we can shift our energy.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I know some people, there's those gratitude journals. And what do you say to, there's some people who, oh God, I don't know what to say. I'm always like, like sometimes I'm grateful for Deliveroo.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be some
It doesn't have to be ginormous.
No.
There's so many things. Yeah, so many things. I think if you just pick up 5 things in the morning and 5 things before you go to bed at night to be grateful for, but that only will take you so far. It has to become natural, not forced. So that then if you try to extend that during your day, you'll notice instead of little frustrations or annoyances, you try to respond gratefully, and then your mind and your attitude changes a little bit. And then you feel better with that.
So what would you say to women who may be listening right now and think this might be a little bit woo-woo, or even they want to explore it more? How would you kind of summarize
Yes.
your work?
I think it's always good for people to come and see one of us or see an energy practitioner, have an assessment and receive energy and experience it. Because when you experience something, then you know whether it's working for you. And then, someone can give you guidance on what to change or what to work on. But I think even though sometimes it seems woo-woo, it's about happiness. It's about being happy. It's about being balanced. It's about being healthy. And people do know they don't have enough energy. If you learn how to receive it, you feel a whole lot better.
And you don't know what you don't know, right?
You don't know what you don't know. Yes.
I mean, Emilie, for me, what I took away from our conversation, I understand the 2 energy levers. Like I said, this was kind of a big unlock for me. Kind of the external energy that we get from food and nature or community, and then this internal energy, this innate energy. So that's huge for me. This idea, I love your analogy. You can put petrol in the tank, but sometimes you just need to recharge the battery.
Yep.
And that really resonates, I think, for anybody listening where you've been doing everything right, but you're still not feeling 100%.
Exactly.
So I think people can relate to that a bit. This idea that you can't block or protect your energy, I think that was a beautiful idea, that energy flows. So even if you are receiving that negativity, just know that it's also going to go away afterwards.
Exactly.
And maybe don't hold on to it,
Yes.
is what you're saying. So be more accepting of that. This 84,000 energy pours in the body. I'm going to smile more. And gratitude as the fastest way to shift energy. Those are all little things that are free that we can do for ourselves at home that actually make a bigger difference than most of us realize.
It makes a huge difference. Of course, we all need a boost sometimes. We need some help. We need to recharge our batteries. But then practicing all those things, you just feel better.
And Emilie, the final question that we ask all of our guests, knowing what we know now about Qi or Qi energy and the menopause transition, what would you tell our 35-year-old listener?
Okay, 35-year-old. I think start taking care of your energy and your emotions early. Because if you start to learn about yourself and know about yourself, then as things do, when you are drained, then you can manage things better. So working on your emotions from a younger age is important, and learning about how energy works and how to recharge yourself, practicing younger. Then as you get into having perimenopausal or menopausal problems, they're less difficult because you have some tools.
What would you tell our 45-year-old listener?
45-year-old listener, check your energy, I would say. Because your energy is starting to go down just after kind of 40, 44, then go and get some help to check your energy levels like you check everything else in your physical system, and get a boost of energy that will carry you through.
Because I think there's so many things in your 40s that are drawing on your
Yes.
energy, physical energy,
Precious.
mental energy, all the different types of energies, family, personal, professional. How do you get your energy checked?
I think
Tell
also,
me.
at 45, you are carrying so many things. Most people, they're home life, professional life. There's so many pressures, and often people don't take enough time for themselves until it's too late. So I think at 45, it's time to go and check and take some time for yourself. That's really important.
And what would you tell our 55-year-old listener?
55-year-old listener, by 55, you are more wise about your mind and emotions, but you need a consistent way to receive energy and sustain energy in the same way as you're looking at consistently building muscle mass and taking care of all your physical systems. So you need a consistent way to receive energy and a practice that supports you.
And I think, we're all living so much longer. We're so much wiser as we enter this stage of life as well, that a practice like this can be really valuable in maintaining our vitality, really, and our
Exactly.
patience. I mean, let's be real. Being more patient.
And
with everybody.
accept everything, because life is life, and we have to enjoy life, and it's, has good times and bad times. So it's accept the flow.
Absolutely. Emilie Weston, thank you so much for being part of our menopausitive
Pleasure.
community. It has been so lovely going a bit deeper into this work with you and understanding it more. We're going to put all the ways that people can find you in the show notes. But I also know you have a special gift for everybody listening.
Yes, we'd love to offer a free class to anyone that wants to come and try our wellness centre, which is in central London. And if people are watching from around the world, we have energy centres in different cities. And a discount offer, one-to-one energy treatment where you can have an energy assessment and find out a bit about your blockages and your energy.
What a beautiful gift. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
And for everyone listening, if you have questions for Emilie, message us at menopausitive.life on Instagram, and we'll aim to get you more information. And if you think someone you know could benefit from this conversation, please share this episode with them. Or do me a favor, take a minute to rate the show. It really does make a big difference. See you next time. Now, Emilie, I bake for all my guests.
Oh, it's your baking. How
It's my
amazing.
baking. It's been sitting here teasing us the entire time. These are just some granola squares with seeds and honey and cranberries and
Fantastic.
lots of yumminess. You want to try one?
Absolutely.
Please. Oh, and by the way, I knew you were menopausitive when you downloaded this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I love bringing this information to you, and I love that you're taking control of your health. You can follow Menopausitive on Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, rate, review, and share this podcast. Join me next week as we discover more ways to optimize our bodies. Because together, we're going to redefine menopause.
I got a good feeling.